What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Rams Brothers. I'm your host, Dean, and I'm joined, as always, by my brother and the other great host of this show, Nick. Nick, this Rams team looks like they're ready for a playoff run. Just got another really tough, gritty win on the road in freezing temperatures in New Jersey against the Jets. But before we jump into this episode and everything that is on the horizon over the next couple of weeks, first and most importantly, how are you, my good brother?
I'm good. Rams victory over the Jets, one of the teams I hate the most in the NFL. Dean and I are almost matching exactly. And it looks like right now, as of now, I have a 63% win percentage to take down Dean to go to the Super Bowl in our fantasy playoffs. So things are good over here in Nickland. No complaints.
That's great. Good for you. Congratulations on the
Yep.
fantasy. The stuff that nobody cares about. Congratulations.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, I'm a little bit salty about that. But our Rams are playing well. So that's the most important thing. Fantasy, throw that out the window. Rams are on fire. Looks like they're ready to make a run to go win the NFC West. And obviously some good things happened in relation to the Cardinals and the Seahawks. And obviously the Niners all lost yesterday. The Rams got a big win on the road. So things are moving in the right direction for the Rams as of right now. So this is a look just at week 5 versus week 16. Just to fast forward 11 weeks. After 5 weeks, the Rams were 1-4. They were all the way at the bottom of the division. Seattle was 3-2, in charge of the division. Cardinals and San Francisco were both 2-3. Fast forward to week 16, Rams are 9-6. The Seattle Seahawks are 8-7. Just had a really tough loss to the Vikings yesterday. Cardinals, they're in typical Cardinals fashion. They collapsed in December and January. And the 49ers are 6-9, all the way in the bottom of the division, in the basement. And things are not looking good in terms of the Super Bowl window for the 49ers. So there's the current standings. You see it on the top right of your screen. Rams are 9-6. The point differential is a little bit scary, right? I think it's -18. Probably the only 3 seed in the league as of right now that has a negative point differential that's that dramatic. And it looked like the 49ers have the exact same point differential, and they're all the way at the bottom of the division at 6-9. So just a matter of situational coaching in specific spots, being able to execute in big time situations, getting better in the red zone, getting better on third down, having the better coach, having the better quarterback. So the Rams are on their way to potentially pursuing another division title. So bang, bang, looks like they're headed to Cancun, gang. Kyle Shanahan is very upset, as I could imagine. A lot of other 49ers fans are, just considering the state of this organization right now. And, you look across the state to what Sean McVay is doing. Another winning season for Sean McVay. He's posted a winning record in 7 of his 8 seasons as the Rams' head coach. In our opinion, best in franchise history. You look at John Robinson, you look at Dick Vermeil, you look at Chuck Knox, you look at guys like that. Sean McVay is the face of this organization. And he has this team coming off of the bye, prepared, ready to go on the road in back-to-back weeks, and able to execute and win different games in different situations against the juggernaut Bills, on the road in San Francisco in the pouring rain, and then against the Jets in freezing cold temperatures. We talked about how he hasn't coached well in those kind of temperatures, but they put it all together and got another win.
I love them in that 10 a.m. window, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I feel like they're always playing up in that window for some weird reason. But yeah, I mean, McVay's been great. Shanahan, I legitimately think there's a scenario where next season we are not looking at Shanahan as the 49ers head coach right now, which all Rams fans, I think, would love, just because he's, outside of this season has done a good job of maintaining Sean McVay and the Rams overall. So, I mean, you look at that graphic of 1-4 to 9-6, that is just resilience. It's a well-coached team. It's the culture that you have in the building. It's relying on the men in the building as opposed to going out and getting outside help and stepping up when other people go down. And then when those people come back, really being able to show what you were missing. As a fan, it's what you love to see. I was saying before the episode started, though, with a team like the Jets, you would like to see the Rams put out a Lions-type victory where it's like the Lions are playing the Bears and they just roll over the Bears. It's 13-0 before the end of the second quarter. And that's just not the type of team this Rams is, and it worries me about how far they'll be able to make it in the playoffs once they do get there, because I do think they're definitely going to get there. it's tough because you want to be able to steamroll these guys, like stinky teams like the Jets, who can't get out of their own way and probably could have won that game if they weren't so gutsy on every single fourth down. But I mean, a win is a win. I'm not going to sit here and act like we're not in a good position right now. I mean, I think you showed me before the start of this episode, if you want to flash the Super Bowl odds on the screen, we have the 8th best odds to win the Super Bowl at plus 3,000, currently only behind the following: Chiefs, Lions, Bills, Eagles, Ravens, Vikings, and Packers. And look, we beat the Bills and the Ravens, or no, sorry, the Bills and the Vikings. We got totally dismantled by the Eagles. But I mean, we came close to beating the Lions as well. So I mean, we have a real shot, I think, in this playoff race. I just want to see a little more from them.
Yeah. I mean, and same with the Packers. It was a really close game against the Packers. So like a couple of things there. I think where we stand, and just to talk on this stat on the right-hand side of your screen, the Rams recorded their 5th straight road win of the season yesterday, their longest regular season road win streak since 2001. So they went to the Super Bowl that season. So 5 straight road winning streak, which is pretty impressive. But just a couple of things. Yeah, you want to see them blow that team out. But, you got to take things into consideration. Their point differential, they flashed it on the screen in the first quarter of this game. The first quarter point differential with this team is god-awful. Yeah, they always seem to be playing from behind. Their point differential the entire season, they're minus 18. So, that they've been struggling. I think they get it together in really important situations. They've been hot off the bye in 2 straight seasons. But, yeah, I think the expectation is like, hey, we would like to see them come out and kick some ass. We would like to see a high-powered offense. We would like to see 14, 21 points in the first half and a controlling lead, be able to control the ball and win a game substantially. There's been no armchair games this season. You haven't been able to kick your feet up, not even one time in 16 weeks. Yeah. So I understand where the concern comes from. And also, the Jets controlled the ball. I thought defensively, a lot of big third down situations, especially early on in the game, they kind of, let their guard down a little bit. Some explosives on 3rd and 14, 3rd and 16. Aaron Rodgers had a ton of time in the pocket. They weren't bringing the blitz consistently. They only brought the blitz 2 times in this game. It was the lowest blitz rate in the entire Sean McVay era. So, I mean, some of it schematically probably could have been improved. And I thought that they learned a lot from that 99-yard drive in the first quarter to start the game. And they made some pretty solid adjustments because they ended up pitching a shutout in the second half. But, yeah, I would like to see them step on the throttle and win some games by a more significant margin. And maybe you'll see that against the Cardinals. And who knows what's going to happen against the San Francisco 49ers, because if they beat Arizona, they clinch the division. So you might see rested starters in Week 18.
Yeah, I'm against Seattle. You said 49ers, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay. I was seeing some scenarios though where if Seattle wins and we win, we don't clinch the division. Is that not the case, or is it division clinching no matter what?
It's division clinching. If we beat the Cardinals, it's division clinching on Saturday night. Yeah.
I mean, I think you got to. This has to be your kitchen sink game of the season then, and it's not like the Cardinals have. I mean, they just lost to the Panthers, who have turned it around for sure, but are still the Carolina Panthers. It's like you have to go into that Saturday night game. It's going to be on prime time, and you got to show up. I think you got to, be the better team, cover 6.5, and just really lay it on and show the league in full display that we are here and we're hosting a playoff game, and we're not somebody that you want to see.
Big time revenge game, considering the 41-10 blowout that the Rams had to travel to Arizona. I think it was in the second week of the season when they just got their ass kicked, coming off of an overtime loss to the Lions, started the season 0-2. And that's where some of the stress was instilled. It's like, this team is not ready. They're hurt. The defense is young. They're vulnerable. The free agent ads were terrible from a secondary perspective, but they've picked some things up. So Matthew Stafford, this is via Sosa. Rams are 8-2 in their last 10 games. So they're really kind of starting to catch some fire. Matthew Stafford is up to 13-1 in December with the Rams. Hopefully on December 28th on Saturday night in primetime against the Cardinals, he improves to 14-1. What a time to be alive is right, Sosa. And like we mentioned, Cardinals and 49ers are both eliminated entirely from playoff contention. So the Cardinals are going to be what John Gruden likes to call the walking dead, going to try to spoil the Rams' playoff hopes and make it a really difficult a matchup against the Seahawks in Week 18 at home. But it was the same day as the Rams win. Christmas came early for sure. One of the things I wanted to call out just in terms of overall performance with the offense, a couple of things. The offensive line, they've allowed 0 sacks for the 3rd straight game, marking the 2nd longest streak in franchise history. And the first time they've accomplished that feat since 2013. So first time in 11 years that the Rams have had 3 straight weeks where they haven't given up any sacks. A lot of it was, these guys are finally healthy. They finally have their starting offensive line in place, but also a lot of it was we're going to shrink the game plan down, a lot of quick passing, and we're going to be able to complement Kyren in the run game as much as humanly possible. And you saw it with Kyren. So this is via JB Long, most 100-yard rushing games since 2023 via NFL Research. Derrick Henry has 11, Saquon has 11, Kyren Williams has 10. He had 23 carries for 122 yards and a touchdown in this game. And another stat via Sosa, Kyren Williams, since the Philly fumble debacle, 4-game sample size, 96 rushing attempts, 421 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He's really been the bell cow of this offense and has really taken on the personality of who they want to be. You want to be physical at the point of attack, physical at the line of scrimmage, be able to execute on your gap schemes, get some combo blocks up front, and really be able to push the ball forward in any situation, especially on like 3rd and 3, which they've done in the last couple of weeks. They've stuck to the run. They stuck through it with it all throughout the entire game. So just compliments to the coaching staff, compliments to Mike LaFleur, who was coaching in a revenge game against the Jets, who really put forth a solid game plan from a run game perspective, to the point where Garrett Wilson was like, yeah, I really love Mike LaFleur. I took that relationship for granted. I really want to be a Ram. No, I didn't say that, but we want him to say that. And just a lot of credit to the coaching staff because they're doing a great job right now.
I mean, just huge credit to Kyren. I think we said it last week on the pod too. We were like, if this is a game where you can control time of possession, run the ball well, and, just like be able to maintain these runs that are better than like 2 to 3 yards, and you're picking up like 7 or 8 or 9. And that's exactly what they were able to do with Kyren and Corum. Corum definitely helped out as well. But I mean, Kyren Williams played that touchdown score. It is like
32-yard run that was negated on the Hunter run.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That one was a killer. I thought he was going to score there and finally be reunited with the end zone.
No, hasn't happened yet. No Corum touchdown yet. Isn't that crazy? Kyren, though. Kyren will find it no matter what. And also, I mean, just if we're talking about touchdowns right now, I'm sure we'll go break into the game specifically. But getting Higbee a touchdown, I thought was awesome. And I saw somebody tweet it. I think it was Sosa. I mean, it's always Sosa. Sosa's always got the great tweets. But it was like people are trying to say that like the other tight ends in the tight end room for the Los Angeles Rams are going to make that play. They're not. They're probably getting stuffed at the 1 if that's the case. Higbee, first game back, diving over. He's the best. I mean, it's crazy when you think about it, but he's the best tight end we have in Rams franchise history. If you're making who is the best quarterback, best running back, which for the Rams, it would be awesome to do that. But I mean, there's no other tight end I can think of in my mind where it's like, it's really Tyler Higbee as the apex Rams predator tight end.
Yeah, I mean, he is. His willingness, and, he's talking about with his wife, how she put together like a tribute video, collaboration of all his rehab videos, the injury video, and really got him motivated. But he's another guy, like and I think the offensive line wanted to play well for him. But he's another guy like Kyren, like Puka, who there's so much energy, positive energy that other guys can gravitate to and rally behind. And you could feel it with Tyler Higbee. Like Matthew Stafford's reaction after Higbee dove into the end zone, arm straight up in the air, was absolutely going nuts. He's a player's player. And that's what we love so much about Tyler Higbee. And yeah, you're probably right. He's probably number 1 on the Mount Rushmore in terms of all time Rams touchdown leaders, receptions from a tight end. So yeah, Tyler Higbee, I think he only played 20 snaps in this game, but he's going to continue to get more snaps as the season progresses. So he's going to be a massive contributor, especially in the red zone in these kind of games.
Yeah, so, if you have if you're in the championship in your fantasy league and you have Kyle Pitts for some reason, Higbee is available right now. So pick up Tyler Higbee for that championship game, which is what I will be doing if I complete this comeback on Dean.
Yeah, not bad advice. And you're ready for context, for the listeners' context. Nick already has Tyler Higbee. He's just playing with you guys. So he's ready to start him next week. He's ready to sit on the bench. So, yeah, I think the defense, I think a lot of people were frustrated with the defense early on in this game. They only gave up 9 points. And they pitched a second half shutout. This is via JB Long. Second half shutout for the first time this season in a Week 16 win over Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. And a lack of blitzes. I talked about this already earlier on in this episode, but this is via Next Gen Stats. They only blitzed Aaron Rodgers on 2 of 44 dropbacks in Week 16 for a 4.5% blitz rate, team's lowest under Sean McVay and Sean McVay's history. And this young and hungry defense, it only consists of, 7 players that they've drafted. So 2 first-year guys, 2 second-year guys, Darius Williams, Quentin Lake, Bobby Brown, 2 UDFAs, the 2 guys in the middle, Christian Roseboom and Omar Spates, and then the 2 free agent signings, Akello Witherspoon and Cam Curl. Cam Curl had the big takeaway late in this game against Aaron Rodgers on the blitz, where it looked like they were going to bring 6, and then they only brought 4, and they dropped Byron Young and Michael Hoyt into coverage. The clip that we shared on X, that's a little bit of the Brian Flores methodology, and a really well-timed pressure and an important one to come later on in this game to force a big fumble that was recovered by Jared Verse. Hopefully that is, it helps his defensive rookie of the year campaign. But yesterday marked the first time that they've allowed fewer than 10 points in consecutive games since week 7 through 8 in 2015. So the Jeff Fisher era. And that stat is via Next Gen Stats also. So, and they did it on the road. So defense travels in the playoffs. Defense travels in important situations down the stretch. So it's important to note that, it felt like the Jets controlled time of possession all throughout the first half, especially in the beginning of the second half when they had that long 6.5, 7-minute drive to start the half. They did win the time of possession battle by about 4 minutes, but the defense pitched a shutout in the second half. They forced a turnover, and they did their job on the road in freezing cold weather. So
the reason why I get upset, even though it's a win, is when you look at it and you're like, our identity is a defensive team. Like, the offense can get you out of a jam. They will be able to put up the points like just enough to get you out of the jam. But you need the defense to be making plays, to be only allowing 9 points, to be, forcing the turnovers. That special teams turnover was also huge.
Mm-hmm.
And the defense picks up the slack of missing kicks and whatnot. So, I mean, you're really at a point where if you look at who this team is, it's a defense first team, I think. And going into the playoffs, I don't think that's a bad thing, especially if we're going to have to go through other, the Detroits or the Philadelphias of the world, even though I know Detroit's in the bowl. But Philly, like, if you come to Philly for like a playoff game, round 2, it's going to be cold, and you're going to need to be able to have like a stout defense. So it's not the worst position that we're in. It just makes me so mad that our first, it's like they don't wake up. The offense won't wake up until the second quarter or even the second half sometime. And that's not a winning formula for a team. You have to show it all 4 quarters. You cannot be relying on this young team.
I agree. I totally agree with you. I do think if you win 1 game this postseason, you chalk this season up as a pretty significant win. I know we didn't say that earlier on in the season. We were talking about the over/under win total at 8.5. They did succeed that yesterday. They're now at or exceed that rather. They're at 9 total wins for the season. But I think to your point, the defense has played better in a larger sample size than the offense has played throughout the entirety of this year. I can think of 2 games off the top of my head that the offense was genuinely impressive. And I think of Minnesota and Buffalo. That's probably it.
Yeah.
So I understand people saying that the defense needs to be the identity. And if the defense isn't playing well, that's where some of the panic is going to stem off of. And I think that's probably what was happening earlier on in this game was like, if the defense doesn't show up, how the hell is this offense going to be able to get it together and do what they did against New Orleans in the second half and Buffalo and the 49ers and the Jets game the last 2 weeks have been definitely shaky from an offensive perspective. Stafford throws a pick.
I'm happy he got that one out of the way, though. I even said that to the people I was watching with. I was like, they showed the stat where it was like 10 touchdowns to no interceptions. I'm like, he's gonna have one coming up. Like it's just inevitable at that
He's
point.
got 5 or 6 turnover-worthy plays in the last couple of weeks, just based on all the picks he almost threw to San Francisco. And then
he almost threw a dropped pick 6.
But I will say, if he wouldn't have thrown that interception, if Hunter Long doesn't get called for that holding or whatever it was, illegal contact or illegal shift.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're on the 9-yard line with a fresh set of downs. And the next play is the Stafford turnover. So,
look at the defense, though, right? So they get that pick, and then the Jets go for it on like a 4th and short, and they don't get it. So we get the ball right back, and then we score. So, that's the identity of the team. That's the only reason they were able to be put in that situation. And that is just frustrating when you're spending all this money on offense. You just want to see them be able to be the team that they are. Also, I don't think one playoff win is a success story, to be honest with you, for this season. I don't. I think they have in the building, in the minds of McVay, the offensive mind, and with Puka and, maybe the last season of Cup and Stafford and now full offensive line and the best running back we've had since Todd Gurley. I think the expectation is NFC Championship.
You know what? That's when I went back and I watched when we did the whole preview of the season when the schedule came out, and you were like, what would you consider? No, I think we both agreed on this. You were like, what would we consider to be a winning season coming out of last year, which was 10-7, and playoff berth, and you lost in the first round of the playoffs. Said 11 wins, and you get to the NFC Championship.
So good. I'm good. I'm standing to my word, because I think the expectation is you got better from last year, so you should go further than you got from last year. And now, I fully believe that we are the 8th best team right now in the league. I think we have the correct Super Bowl odds. So, you're primed to upset some people in that scenario.
Well, yeah, and you don't want to be stagnant year over year, right? Because then you go, you lose this game to the Cardinals theoretically, or you lose the last game to Seattle because you're resting your starters. Right. End the season 10-7. You're probably going to be in the 3 or 4 seed. So then you're going to play Green Bay, or you're going to play a Minnesota, or you're going to play Detroit, in the first round of the playoffs, and you theoretically lose again. Same exact situation as last year. It's almost the same season recycled. So that's what you really want to be able to avoid. That's why I said you want to win at least one playoff game this season.
That's fair. I just think, at least with if we get Detroit, it's luck of the draw at that point.
Yeah.
And we're boned. Personally, I think we're just boned. Even if it's in LA, it's going to be taken over by
I think that you got to watch them closely over the next couple of weeks just to see how their defense responds to all the injuries. And same with the offense. Obviously, the offense looked great yesterday, but it was the Chicago Bears.
Anybody else, though, Packers, Vikings, I feel fine.
Packers would be a revenge situation because we played them with a banged up roster, and we would host them in SoFi Stadium. So that would, I think we played them already in SoFi. But, yeah, but it would be good.
Packers would be great. That would be the best case scenario, I think. But we kind of,
or maybe even like a Washington.
I don't know if that's possible though.
Yeah,
we have to be the. We'd have to get lucky with the other teams dropping games,
right,
and Washington winning out. But Washington is that's a guaranteed win, I would think, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that would be a good one. Rookie quarterback would be kind of all you would hope for in the first round of the playoffs.
Washington's just happy to be there at that point. You know what I mean? Haven't been in had a real quarterback in the playoffs. Last time they were there was with Heineke.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. They barely got in. So this is the other thing that I wanted to talk about too. So this is via Jordan Rodriguez. Real quick, I just want to talk about special teams before we jump off. She put out a tweet, and I'm assuming it's based on some of her research and some of her access to the team directly, that Craig Aukerman arrived a couple of weeks ago. I think it was Nate Chili Dog Davis that was fired as a special teams assistant, and then they had another special teams assistant come to the building that left for another job. So this is the third special teams assistant that they've had in the building in Craig Aukerman. He was helping out Chase Blackburn on special teams, and he and Blackburn devised a plan for Jordan Whittington's increased contributions in the special teams phase. And Aukerman had previously worked with Blackburn and previously coached Sean McVay. So Craig Ackerman, this could be a really solid addition in terms of special teams. You're not going to be able to fix what's going on with Josh Karty, but Jordan Whittington had 2 really big plays. He had down the ball on the 1-yard line, which led to the 99-yard touchdown drive, and then he recovered a muffed punt. And he's also a great gunner. He's great in rotation as a receiver. So, just really like him as a player. But that is that's your bread and butter, what you want from a special teams player in Jordan Whittington. Great returner. So
the jump he has on the ball, I know it's not it looked like a it looked so theatric on the muff punt. He jumps up first and then dives like it looked like a little kid. But I mean, it was fantastic. Yeah, I mean, that's the play of the game. It's the game winner. That's the victory formation.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's what you love about.
I mean, that's just
like
the Jets too, just being a bad team. And
yeah, the Jets. I mean, they collapsed. They, a lot of false start penalties. They started just trying to throw the kitchen sink at us. Go for it on every single fourth down in irrational situations. They weren't taking any points. Probably could have made the game a lot closer than it was. But also Josh Karty. So I wanted to share this via Blaine Grisak on X or on Twitter or whatever you want to call it. Rams kicker Joshua Karty is one made field goal away from passing Greg Zerlin for second most made field goals by a rookie kicker in franchise history. Karty is currently the most accurate rookie kicker, minimum 10 attempts, in Rams franchise history. He's made 82.1% of his field goals this year. Missed a couple of extra points, but I mean, I can't get a feel for Karty. I'm like, he's going to miss an extra point, and then he just nails kicks
like a 48-yarder.
I don't think he's going to. Yeah,
I know. I mean, it. Back when I used to run cross country, this is crazy that I'm referencing this though. It's all a head game. Like the actual the run sucks, but if you hype yourself up enough, you're fine. Like you've done it before. You can run a 5K. It's not the hardest thing in the world. But there are people that will ruin it for themselves and put themselves just in such a bad mind space that the run is ruined from the jump. And I think he just worries so much about those extra points now.
I know.
And somebody has to, because I mean, look at him. He's he can still drill the San Francisco game. He's the only reason we were able to win that game is because he drilled his kicks in the rain. And then in this game, he drills a 40-yarder to put us up 10. So, I mean, I don't really understand it either. I mean, I wanted to put out the Dumb and Dumber tweet where it's just when I think you can't do anything dumber than this, you totally redeem yourself. I mean, I don't understand it. It's annoying. It's annoying as a fan to see your guy missed extra points, but he redeems himself. So I can't really be that mad at him.
No, I know. Yeah, that's the thing. He does redeem himself. He's accurate. He's no Jake Moody. You didn't take him in the third round. You took him in the sixth round. He's still developing. I thought it was a great draft pick. He's got a good trajectory on his ball. So I'm just hoping that things work out with him because I don't want to go through the kicker carousel again.
He really is gentle, Josh.
Yeah.
He's just sometimes he's too gentle.
He gently plays with your emotions every single week.
Yes.
Yeah, Nick, you and I are going to have a chance to watch the game together on Saturday. Hopefully the Rams clinch the division against the Cardinals. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun.
They're undefeated when I'm in New Jersey, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. I said it before the episode started last week.
Yeah.
They play great when you're in Jersey. So if you guys are enjoying the podcast, make sure to like and subscribe. Support us on all social media outlets, specifically here on YouTube where we need the most support. And as always, we appreciate you guys. Saturday is going to be a lot of fun. Opportunity to win the division. But before we go, just want to say we love you and go Rams.
Go Rams. I want to give a shout out to a special Rams Brothers fan in my heart. Bertha Alicia on Twitter. She's at Bertha A 390325449. She purchased a mug and some stickers, some Rams Brothers merch. And not only did she purchase just regular Rams Brothers merch, she purchased the drawings that I made of Dean and I, the caricatures of us. So, I mean, that was just really nice. And I just wanted to give her a shout out. Bertha rocks. She's great on Twitter too. She's a great follow. And if anybody wants Rams Bros merch, you can find it below at YouTube, at the YouTube shop. It's right down there. It means the world to Dean and I that you guys care and listen to us. It's just really cool to be a part of the Ramily.
Indeed. And everybody, Merry Christmas. Enjoy your holidays. Hopefully you guys get some time off. You get to relax, hang with your family. It's going to be a good Christmas. And hopefully, as a gift in between Christmas and New Year's, the Rams could win the division and life will be good. So
wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, we're watching it on my dad's birthday party. That's our Saturday night is our dad's birthday party. So I just hope they win that game. Otherwise, it's 200 proof whiskey for him, and he doesn't do well with that.
I think they will. I'm not worried.
I'm not really either. It's the Cardinals.
I was going to say we'll talk to you guys after Christmas, which I think will be on Thursday. So we'll do a preview and everything like that. But as always, go Rams. We appreciate you guys.
Go
Peace.
Rams. Appreciate you guys. Take care.